Check, check, check. Testing. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending. We'd like to open our meeting on the 5th of May at 6:34 p.m. We'd like to start by acknowledging that we are currently on the land of the Gawler people, and we would like to respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Gawler people as the custodians of the Greater Adelaide region, and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Gawler people today. We'd like to welcome Kim Hanton, which is an independent candidate for Spence this evening in our gallery. So thank you for attending. Welcome. We have 2 apologies from Edward Sharp and Max Greville. We have no motions for grant leave of absence or leave of absence at the moment. We'd like to note as well that Jade Hancock and Darcy Hancock are running late, and we have non-attendance from Molly Jones. Item 3, which is public open forum, we'd like to invite Kim Staples from U-Turn up to our lovely mic stand to discuss the new headspace facility planned for Gawler. If you'd like to press the button in the middle of the microphone.
There we go. Okay. Hi, I'm Kim. I'm from U-Turn. U-Turn is the lead agency opening the Headspace Gawler Centre in a couple of months' time. I know we've previously spoken with the group around some consultation for the location and some other information that we've used in our development and establishment. So I'm just here to be able to give a little bit of an update around where things are at with the establishment, some concept plans, and also hoping to get a little bit of feedback from the group as well around the look and feel of the centre and I guess what you would like at the centre, what you'd like to be in it, things that you don't want, and anything else that you'd like to suggest. So on the screen I've got, I think slide 3 is the concept plan that we've got. So sorry, just on the next one, which if you can see that one, we are working with an organisation who's helping us project manage the design of it, and this is our latest design. So you can see within the plan that we've got walking in, you've got the entryway, the waiting room leading up into the reception space. We've got a number of family rooms and different rooms for appointments and meetings. We've also got quite a nice, great big group room and meeting room as well. We've also got the space for 2 GP consulting rooms as well. So I guess the next thing that I would like to hopefully get some ideas from the group, whether it be now or whether I can get the information maybe after a little bit thinking about a little later on, is thinking about what sort of vibe that you want the centre to have, what's important for you to have there, and what other things that you don't want. So I did have on the slide just a couple of examples of headspace centres from other centres across Australia with the different setup that they've got in their space. And you can see each is quite individual, while quite recognised as being headspace. So keen to see what you think. What is it that how you'd like it to feel, anything that you really do like, anything that you don't like out of those, I guess some of those examples, or if you have your own ideas. The other thing that I'm keen to get an understanding about is thinking about Gawler itself. So is there anything significant around Gawler that you'd like to incorporate into the centre through art, murals, signage, anything else that really makes it Gawler and unique to Gawler as well? The other idea that I was keen to get some feedback on was some thoughts around within the space. Each room will be named, will have its own individual name. So any thoughts on how you'd like those to be named? So some of the other centres around Australia have referred to First Nations language, native animals, birds, fish, local points of interest, colours, that they've got different themes throughout centres. So we're definitely open to ideas about what you think would be a good fit for the Gawler Centre as well. So while I've sort of spoken through that, I'll also give a bit of an update that with the Gawler Centre, we're looking to open, we're aiming for July, so that mid to late July timeline, providing all's going well. We're currently going through recruitment, so we've already started to hire a couple of positions, but we've got advertisements out for further recruitment, and we'll also be looking to establish our youth advisory committee as well for the Headspace Centre. So I guess that is a little bit of an overview. So I'm open, like if anyone has any questions or would like to give any feedback or thoughts about anything.
Yep, amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to mute. Oh, perfect. All good. Emerson?
Hello. I was wondering, seeing that design plan there only seems to be one like really big group room. I understand with limitations of the space, you might not be able to get two. But in saying so, is that room, I see a bunch of tables there, they're going to be movable, right? Like it's going to have enough space to have activities where it isn't just in a circle. And then I had one more question as well. I saw the photos looked really nice and they looked really well designed, but a lot of them were just through a reception area. And I was more wondering, what about the areas like those offices that would be on the one-on-ones? Because big thing that just shuts a lot of kids out with this discussion and stuff is you get in the room and it just either feels really bland and like dark and you don't feel safe, or it just feels sometimes overstimulated, like way too much, and it doesn't seem like in those photos there are just seem to be like nice ones, but again a lot of them seem to be more open receptionist areas. So I was just wondering that.
Yeah, so those pictures were focused around the reception areas, but with our meeting rooms, we'll be looking to make them hopefully as comfortable as possible. So having couches, bean bags, different sensory toys like fidgets and different lights as well. So lamps so that you can adjust the lighting if necessary. But is that some of the feedback that you'd give is around the possibly like the change, being able to adjust lighting or
100%. I like being able to have a customized area for people rather than it'll make it feel more comfy and more at home. And be honest, I know when sometimes I go to therapy, I'm fiddling with a pillow the whole time. It just makes it feel more welcome and more easier to feel safe and be able to talk freely.
Did we have any more questions or ideas for Kim Aislinn?
Okay. Not really like feedback, more of just kind of an idea. But maybe having the reception desk look a little less like doctor's office-y and kind of just more of like a, I don't know how to explain it, but less like you're going up for an appointment and it's like kind of daunting and more just kind of like a fun area, I guess. Yeah.
Any other questions or ideas? Bernie?
What was the room in like right next door for GP room and the basically like between the toilets, like the small square, like
The comms one?
yeah, the comms one. Like, what's up?
Computers, I believe. Do you want to press your thing again?
Yeah, so it'll just be a space for the IT, things to be stored, so not so much a usable area.
Cool. Any other questions, Jade?
Sorry, I came in halfway, so I might have missed you discussing this, but what do you believe has to be done to this space to make it more accessible for people who might have disabilities or in wheelchairs? Are there any limitations of this space that you're finding so far?
So with the access to the centre, there's a ramp that we will be looking to redo. So you can see the little bit at the front, which is a family room that's sort of coming out. You have the stair access to the left, but then there'll be a ramp and another door, disability access door on the other side as well. So there'll be full accessibility. Hallways will be the width to make sure that it's fully accessible to each room as well.
Perfect. Thank you. We'll definitely probably gather some more feedback. And do we have contact details for you? Yes, we do. We'll probably go around later or pop it on our little Facebook group and gather ideas. But yeah, I agree with these guys. Nothing clinical feeling, I don't think, is the way to go. Definitely softer lights and a more open and welcoming space. No big lights. Warm lights. Perfect. Do we have any other ideas or questions? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. Just confirming, are you okay for your PowerPoint to be shared with the group along with the questions, or is that something you'd like to hold
No,
on to?
I won't get that PowerPoint shared.
Okay.
But what I can do is I'll compile some of those questions and send them through so that they can be shared and brainstormed a little bit for that feedback.
That would be fantastic. Are you able to just include the JPEGs for some of those examples?
Yep.
Emerson might want to be able to just use some examples in some of the feedback and some others as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kim, for your time. We'll definitely get back to you on that soon. Alrighty, we're going to head to item 4, which is declarations of interest. Ren Bennett has declared a material conflict of interest pursuant to Section 75B of the Local Government Act for 7.3 because the matter relates to potential reappointment to the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee, and we'll deal with the matter by leaving the room at the appropriate time. We'd also like to note that Bernie has declared a conflict of interest pursuant to Section 75A of the Local Government Act for item 7.1. We'll return to this as the conflict arises. Item 5 is confirmation of minutes. Our previous meeting was on the 3rd of February, so a while ago. Do we have any discussion or questions regarding the previous minutes? No? Could I please have a mover, Aislinn, and a seconder, Lily? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 6 is business arising from minutes. If we have anything to note there? Probably not. Item 7 is decision reports, and 7.1 is the Youth Sponsorship Program 2024 and 2025 Round 4. So I'm going to grab Bernie to speak on this, if you would like to declare your conflict of interest.
Right, so one of the applicant, I know him as we're in the same school and same year level, but not in the same class. And I think I still have to declare this conflict of interest because we're in the same year level, which is like kind of too close for the relationship circle. So that's all. Thank you.
No worries, thank you. If you would like to head out, we will grab you once the decisions and conversation is over. Thank you. All right, so if we turn to page 5 in our agenda, we have 3 applicants here. We can either vote for them all together at the same time or separately. Do we have any preferences? We currently have, oh, sorry, Jade.
Sorry. I'm happy to vote for them all together as long as they're all fitting the criteria, which I believe we're now on a page where they all are. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if there's something Bernie discussed with you, but I'm happy for him to be involved in this, despite knowing this person. I think if it was a sibling or like a very close friend, I'd be more concerned about there being a proper conflict of interest, but... Yeah, if you could think.
So, so the type of conflict that this is not a material conflict, it's a general conflict, which is one where you basically choose whether or not to leave the room. This is just he's not being forced out, this is just a decision of just, it's not actually a conflict by the legal definition, but in terms of just like, in the school or whatever, just, it might, you know, an average person might think, oh, well, of course, he'd approve it, or that sort of thing. And so, like, yes, it's not a conflict, but it's a decision, yeah, it's his decision to stay or leave.
Thank you. Here with our applicants, we have Josephine Vergara for softball, who has requested, I believe, $100. We have Kobe Schwetlick, which is requesting $100 for his 10-pin bowling, and Ricky Henry, which is requested $200 for motorcycle racing. So are we happy to vote for all of these guys together, or is anyone opposed to voting for them together? No? Amazing. Could I please ask for a mover? Jade, thank you, and a seconder? Emerson, thank you, and all those in favour of voting the 3 applicants to be approved? Perfect, carried unanimously, thank you. If anyone would like to retrieve Bernie, thank you, Chair. It is the recommendation that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that the applications for the sponsorship received from the following young people totalling $400 be approved. Josephine for softball, Kobe for bowling, and Ricky for motorcycle racing. On to 7.2, which is the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee meeting schedule. If you'd like to open your agenda to page 13. We have kindly been gifted a new meeting schedule for the 2025 and 2026 years, I suppose, if you would like to have a look, if there's any discussion or questions regarding such. Could I please ask for a mover? Bernie? And a seconder? Emerson? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. 7.3, which is the appointment of members, if we'd like to turn to page 15. I might ask Ren to speak first, if this is all right, if you would like to speak about why you would like to reappoint yourself.
So basically, I'd like to continue on this committee as I think it's important to represent the youth in the local community, and I enjoy doing it. And last year I raised the issue of busking fees, and this was successfully changed. And I'd like to be able to contribute, being a part of the community and representing the youth in the future.
Cool, thank you. I'd like to invite Kelsey up to the stand if you would like to speak as well. If you'd like to press the button. Thank you.
Is that working?
Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelsey. My pronouns are she, her. Just a little bit about me. I've lived in Gawler all of my life, except for 2021 to 2023 I lived in Canberra for university. I now study my Masters at Flinders of Public Policy. And yeah, I found out, I spoke to Emerson earlier, we actually went to primary school together, so it's a bit of a small world. So I want to join the Youth Advisory Committee because I really value youth engagement and consultation, as you guys are all doing here. I also really value passion and actually creating valuable change in the community. And I think that that starts at a local level. So yeah, that's why I would like to join.
Perfect, thank you. Did we have any questions for Kelsey or Ren whilst we're here? Jade?
We have 3 vacancies. Does that include Ren's position that he's leaving? So is that 3 with or without Ren? Good question?
No, it doesn't include.
Doesn't include Ren, so Ren would be reapplying and we'd have 1 vacant position if both were accepted. Okay, my question, proper question. What made you interested in studying what you're studying, and how do you think that will relate to helping like local youth?
Is that on? Sorry. So I did my undergraduate in political science and development studies, and that passion really came from helping people, really. And specifically my development studies was helping, really focusing on like third world countries, and brought it back to an Australia focus with in poverty and people below the poverty line. And I think that that's really adversely affecting youth around the country, not just in Gawler. But I decided to study my Masters of Policy at the start of this year because I really am passionate about developing policy and engaging with people, really. And I really think that that connects, that's what I want to do for my career and for my livelihood. So I think that that starts from the ground up, and I think that the first point and sometimes what is overlooked is youth, really. And I think that this is such a good platform for not only you guys, but everyone, all the youth that we represent in Gawler, because this platform is not available to a lot of people.
Perfect, thank you so much. Any more questions? No, we'd like to ask Ren and Kelsey to head out into the corridor for a moment. Thank you. Would we like to vote, actually, firstly, any questions or comments regarding these 2 individuals? Jade?
Just in my personal opinion, I think Kelsey would be a great member on GYAC, having a background in like understanding policy. She kind of reminds me of a bit of an Isaac Solomon before he went to council, how he was writing, he helped write our trainee policy, I guess. I don't know if it's a policy per se. But I think she'd be really good to ask questions to as well for us. She's 22, she's my age, and she has probably a better understanding in policy than I do, and I've been in the GYAC for X amount of years. So I think she'd be a really good person to ask questions to as well when we're not sure how this fits onto a high level. I can see her and Cody geeking out about policy, so they're both in my favour. Ren's been a good addition, both on a musical side and also how like calm-headed he's been for our meetings. I think he's very a logical thinker, so I'd be happy for both of them to be on the GYAC.
Perfect, thank you, Jade. Any comments from anyone else? No? Would we like to vote these guys in/out together or separately? Are we happy for together at the same time?
Yep.
All right, can I please ask for a mover? Darcy? And a seconder, please. Lily. All right, all those in favour of these 2 individuals being voted in together? Thank you, carried unanimously. We'll invite these guys back in. Welcome back. I'd like to note that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that 1, it notes the expressions of interest from Kelsey Suter and Ren Bennett for membership to the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee, and 2, having considered the nominations from the candidates for the vacant Gawler Youth Advisory Committee positions, Kelsey Suter and Ren Bennett be appointed to the GYAC for a period of 2 years. So, congratulations. We are going to move on to information reports. And we're going to start with 8.1, which is the Youth Development Program update, if our Youth Development Officer would like to have a chat.
Yes, thank you. Through the chair. It's been a bit of a whirlwind. Youth Week, school holidays, everything else. So excuse me, I will leave the April school holidays and Youth Week later to some members to update. It was just really great to see so many new young people come out to different events, and we had our skate park event, which was huge, and our movie event, which was another huge event. So 2 massive events in one school holidays on top of everything else we did, because we were successful in getting a Youth Week grant from the department. So that was amazing. So History Month is officially launched, May, and obviously Gawler Youth, pushed by the Gawler Youth Council, we have got our first event in History Month this year. So next Monday we launch our official GYAC event, The Mystery Behind the History, which was named by some young people in the youth space. So that is a GYAC event that we're launching, and then it will be up on the public web domain of all geocaching, so anyone can do it at any time. We're launching it from the youth space, and we will have teams of young people. So some of our GYAC members, Lily, Emerson, Abby, Aislinn, will be taking groups around Gawler, so that our young people that do come in can be safe and protected if they've never done geocaching before, that sort of thing. So it's really great to have the support of the committee that is taking some groups around. We'll also have Makala present as well, who is our drama teacher. Monday's normally a drama program, so a lot of our drama students are really keen to get out and do this together. We also got a lot of members of the community booked in as well, so you can book in if you want to come. There's going to be some limited edition pins on the day, so those of you that collect pins, which is pretty much every young person and every person on the planet, so that will be really cool. And I won't tell you much more because it is pretty exciting. You will get to learn some history about Gawler. It also means that anyone coming to our town can actually follow the trail and learn some facts, interesting facts, funny facts, ghost stories, whatever it is, about the points where you have to go and solve the mystery. So we'll leave from this building and we'll come back and finish at this building. And that will be all I'll be telling you for now. On that topic, sorry. I told you, it's been a whirlwind. July programs are underway of planning, so we do have quite a few things already in motion ready for July school holidays. Term programs for term 3, and our next GYAC meeting, well, team building is on the 2nd of June, which at that time we do hope to farewell Max, which Abby will let you know later that Max won't be coming back to the committee. He will be, his membership will expire and he's moving states later in the year. So it's time for him to move on. And yeah, so we will be working to do a team building, and Cody's going to give us a little bit of a rundown at our next catch up about motions and all things council. So that will be really cool as well. So that will be on the 2nd of June. It will be here in the youth space. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Do we have any questions for Deb? No? May I please ask for a mover? Jade. And a seconder? Bernie. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 9. Oh, Chair.
I will just jump in. Attached to the Youth Development Officer update report is a draft copy of the Youth Development Plan. Please have a good read through, and I would love to get some feedback. We consulted pretty much all last year about it, and obviously the earlier plan that we're sort of still working under, although technically is out of date, still had a lot of great valid actions that we're still implementing today, but obviously this is a new iteration of that based on the feedback we've received. So any time up until the 30th of May, it would be great to hear your feedback if you'd like to meet as a group or meet one-on-one, or just email me feedback or share it in the youth Facebook group. Would love to hear your feedback or any thoughts, recommendations. You know, does it cover what it needs to? Is it too expansive, too simple? Just any thoughts or feedback you have, and that will all get incorporated into the next revision of it. So up until the 30th of May. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Item 9. 9.1 is the presiding member verbal update. Unfortunately, Mayor Redman has been on leave, so I haven't had the opportunity to meet with her, but I believe Deputy Mayor Shanks and I will begin to meet while he is filling in for the Mayor. 9.2, we haven't had a youth advisory panel meeting since December last year. So I'd like to request, if possible, that we remove this topic and we come back to it if the panel ever forms again. 9.3, which is Gawler Youth Accessibility to Transport and Bike Month. I'd like to ask Debbie to speak on this.
Yes, through the chair. Max is away, and obviously Max has been the primary person in charge of Gawler accessibility to transport, and Emerson's been looking after Bike Month he inherited from GYAC. So I guess tonight, with Max leaving, is somebody else interested in transport? I did think even maybe Aislinn, you might want to provide some updates since you're using public transport to get to uni every day. But it's totally up to the committee if we want to keep this topic there as a discussion point. And Bike Month as well, we would normally next meeting we will be calling for our motion to go to council if we still wish to look at October being promoted as Bike Month, and if we do so, is there a couple of committee members that would like to put their hands up for either of these topics to stay in this agenda?
I'm probably too busy with being not in Gawler to take on this, but would it be... Do we collaborate with the Gawler Environment Centre when it comes to activities like Bike Month? Because in my opinion, I don't think this needs to be an item that is discussed at every single meeting. I think in the lead up to Bike Month, it can be something we focus on. I think GYAC has left us in a really good position where Bike Month is an established month in October, so it's not something we need to actively be working towards. But maybe if a couple members towards October are working on promotions and stuff like that, you don't have to be focused on Bike Month per se. But if you're interested in advertising or if you're interested in promoting to Gawler, I think this would be a good item to take on. Seeing it's already established, you don't have to know the ins and outs of everything. If I have the time, I would. And I'm more happy to chat with anyone else who thinks they might be interested, but I don't think it needs to be discussed at every meeting.
Yeah, it's through the chair. That's perfectly fine. We just need someone, if you want to go ahead, to move the motion next meeting. So whether that's Emerson, if he wants to keep doing that, or somebody else. And we do obviously cross-promote any Bike Month events in our town. So Gawler Environmental Centre normally run one, and then there's a few others that we do promote as well, like ride your bike to work safely that day and different things. So we do try to make it streamlined as possible, and that's thanks to GYAC's past work on the committee. So it is just literally saying, yes, we like these social media images, or these ones are working with our marketing team to get some images, and we normally get about 6 to 8 images, and they go up throughout Bike Month, before, during and after. So just to promote that we are encouraging it. There has been some work to the bike trails in Gawler in the last 4 weeks, new signage up on Kemp Street and a few things like that. So it's just taking that information and feeding it back to the committee. So if anybody does want to do that, and transport as well, we can opt to say, let's take this off and just talk about these topics as we find we need to, or we can leave them on here.
So I think, yeah, like I think in general, a lot of this stuff doesn't have to be on here forever. Like I think we probably don't need a accessibility transport committee anymore if we're not actively working towards anything, and we're happy with where it's at, and it just the youth officer remembers every year to put it in the report for June or that sort of thing. And similarly with, it was mentioned in the report, but there's been a lack of interest in writing a bunyip article every month. And that's all perfectly fine. Like it doesn't have to be, the things in here are based on what previous GYACs have had personal enthusiasm for, but it can be a completely, like, your own passions are what decide what's on the committee. So we can have a busking committee or whatever, you know, like, so, and that's part of what I wanted to talk about in June, around motions and all that sort of thing, is just recentering what are the things you're passionate about, and are they actually being addressed at the GYAC meeting, or are we sort of just following the motions of previous stuff? So, but yeah, that's just my comments. You don't, if no one's got an enthusiasm for transport as their main issue, it's fine to not have it and to discuss, well, what do we want to have?
Thank you, Councillor Davies. Aislinn?
This might be more of like personal opinion, but I feel like keeping, like, not bike month as such, because as you said, it's more of like a leading up to thing, but the transport in general might be a good like subtopic to have under a different branch, especially like there's a lot of questions around that, like updating the bus route and stuff like that in the new development areas like Springwood and that. So yeah. So
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's a perfect example. I guess what I just wanted to let members know about what we're able to do as your elected members. You know, some of this feedback that comes through, we find ourselves sometimes in rooms with ministers like Tom Koontzatonis, who is the Minister for Department, Infrastructure and Transport, where we have the opportunity to feed information and what we're seeing on the ground, and some of that feedback comes from people like you in this room, some of it comes through council reports, some of it's linked together and empowered each other going forward. I know I've got some meetings hopefully coming up soon with those sorts of ministers around public transport. We have an opportunity to sort of provide a little bit of feedback in relation to the gather round at Lindock, and just sort of provide a little bit of feedback that we're receiving here in Gawler on what worked well and what could potentially be done better. And from that, we'll also try to leverage the conversation around connected communities. We, as elected members, receive a lot of feedback from your Aspire Estates or your Springwoods or your Aliana Waters. That general feedback from some of the residents in that area are, we actually can't seem to get on an appropriate bus loop to get us to a train in a convenient and reasonable time, and in the end we just end up driving. Now, some people have that option, but it's not one that I've seen the government be too happy about using. You know, what they want people using their infrastructure and public transport, but if you're not providing the connectivity to the main lines, being the train station and the like, then you're missing something. Obviously, this comes with potential milestones reached in population growth and the like, but if we're not consistent with our messages that you guys in this room help us with along the way, we're not armed with that youth voice. So I would recommend, and again, this is your committee, you know, you guys do you, but the option to be able to just provide some of that feedback, even if it's a quick, hey, this annoyed me this week, that honestly becomes very handy and an asset that your elected members, and myself and Cody, can use when the conversations are in the chamber, when they're in the office, from staff from the department and etc.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Councillor Davies.
Yeah, and just following on from that, I think it is something that, part of the value of this committee is having some of this feedback written down so that, like Nathan's the acting mayor at the moment, and so he is meeting with ministers and that sort of thing, and if he can say, well, the youth are saying that Springwood has no buses, then it's suddenly a more powerful thing than just the council's complaining that Springwood has no buses. And so I think with accessibility to transport, I think a bit of the struggle has been just getting a more specific topic, because originally this was around the removal of VORT testing from Gawler was the original topic for this, and there was a whole campaign, the mayor and the chair of the committee meet with the minister or that sort of thing. And I think it's been around for long enough now that it's sort of a vague accessibility to transport. But if you had a specific topic like bus routes or something, you could probably work towards a more specific goal there, and it might be easier to figure out what's going on rather than just sort of signing up to a vague accessibility to transport committee.
Sorry. I would just like to say on this matter, I am happy to put in a motion next meeting for Bike Month. I think it is something we should keep doing over the years. I do understand I'm not the best one here that's advocating for Bike Month every time, but I'd love to keep the tradition going. But I agree with Jade saying we do not need to talk about it every time. But in the meeting before Bike Month happening and in the meeting after Bike Month, 100% we should be talking about it. And I also agree with both the councillors and Aislinn that the public transport itself should be its own topic by now. And it should hopefully become something where, like Nathan said, someone got annoyed. You got annoyed this week that you couldn't catch the train because of this, or like the buses don't work properly. I think it's a great opportunity for people to talk about it, and then we can discuss further into how to fix it. Because I remember at one of our meetups, we just sat there with a map talking about bus routes, and that conversation lasted maybe an hour because we're all really intrigued about it. But I also agree with Councillor Cody, that there is a point where everyone's just kind of like, this is too broad of a topic. What do I say? Oh, I'm going to back off and hope someone else speaks about it. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other discussions on this? I think if we could clarify and specify what the topic is, having maybe accessibility to transport kind of Bike Month, I suppose, is one thing, and then specifically actually our accessibility as youth to transport as a separate thing. Debbie, are you? Yes.
Yeah. Through the chair, I'm happy to leave the topic on there, and then if we want to change the name, I'll take off Bike Month, obviously, and Emerson can put a motion in next month for that. And Emerson, if you get that to me soon, then that can be included in the agenda rather than a motion on it can be a motion on notice. So we can work with Cody to get the wording and get that into the agenda, so we know that that's already planned, and then we'll go from there.
Amazing, thank you so much. We might move to 9.4, which is the youth programs update. Oh dear. Term 2 starts to return from this week, I believe. So as of current, there is a lovely grace period of calm before the whirlwind. Anyway, 9.5, which is the youth events update. We had the youth film event, which was the screening of Ace and the Minecraft movie, which was the Youth Week celebration. 142 individuals attended. The feedback from the community was overwhelmingly positive. It was some people's first time attending movies due to the cost of living, and everyone was very appreciative of the experience. And I'm happy to say that there was no popcorn. I'm happy to say that due to Chia's threat of if you throw popcorn, I'm going to personally remove you and the popcorn myself from this film. There was no popcorn thrown, and everyone seemed thrilled with their chicken jockey moment, so I think it went well. Moving on. Would we like, sorry. Aislinn, Lily or Emerson, would you like to speak about this school holiday programs? Would you like to? Lily? Fantastic.
I didn't go to a lot of them, but the ones I did go to, I went to spray painting, and I think there was like a prop making one, but like the one that was like mainly jewellery, and also the film, but I only saw the Ace film, and the Ace film was very good. As for the other two, spray painting went well. I think it was mainly furniture. Quite a few people came. It went well, I think. And the same for jewellery making. We learned some stuff with like making bracelets out of like can tabs. And Debbie collected a lot of can tabs. Right. And yeah, it was really good.
Thank you so much, Lily. Emerson?
I will update on the clay and painting ones. It went quite well. No, I got this. The painting one went quite well. It was run very well. We got just a blank canvas and some paper. We were just like taught, the basics of what to do, and then we pretty much just went. And it was. I assume everyone loved it because we had music going the whole time. We ended up putting on Ratatouille, and people were watching that. Then I won't lie if it was that one or the clay one, but one did go a little too long. But that was just because we thought it would be better to have a long. It was the painting one. I'm sorry, Debbie. It just kind of went too long. The clay one went very well. We haven't gotten them back yet, I'm assuming. They're in the use space now. Never mind, they're in the use space now. Everyone made some very interesting things. I can't speak too much about it because I won't lie, I did fall asleep. And then with also the costume design, I would just love to make a note saying I think it is our first program besides from Abby. I don't really conclude you as a youth member. You're too important at this point. That Aislinn ran a program on kind of on her own. She did have Mark there in the end just to support, but Mark was just kind of sitting there vibing. I think it's a great opportunity, and I think it's a really remarkable feat to have one of our younger youth run a program.
Thank you so much, Emerson.
Just to follow on and clarify a bit, I think what Emerson meant by, you can correct me if I'm wrong, by it running too long was with the painting one, there was a few of us who, because there wasn't really a set, step-by-step thing, it was more of we got our instructions and then we were just getting help from Jess, who was assisting us. There was some people who finished much earlier and some people who didn't, so that's why the movie and that came in. But I think it was great, a great experience to have other people coming in and helping, especially with the clay pots one. We had, I think it was Scott. Okay, we had Scott, and he was really good. He came around individually whenever we needed help and taught us all these different techniques that people who are wanting to go down paths like that can keep using. And yeah, it was just great having a professional there to help assist us along the way.
Thank you very much, Aislinn. I'd like to note here as well that apparently the skate park event was a huge success. We had 400 in attendance and will be doing again. Do we have any other questions or notes to add regarding the programs? No? Amazing. We are going to move on to Jade to give us a town band update.
Nothing major to update, as I haven't been here, but I'll be handing this on to Darcy for following meetings about rehearsals. The only thing I will say is follow the TikTok. We've got over 100,000 views on one of our videos, so at Gawler Town Band, right? Yeah, follow the TikTok.
Shameless self-promo, which is about to occur again because we're heading over to Councillor Davies for his event update on boundary changes to the History Festival.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted me to promote my TikTok.
I mean, if you want, honestly. We've seen it before.
Yeah. So yes, I did an opening for the first day of the History Month, 1st of May, about the changing boundaries of Gawler over the past 150 years, talking about how, for example, Evanston and all of that used to be part of the Manapara Council before it was part of Gawler, and all of these changes that have happened. And I believe it's up on YouTube now, so I might send around the link, but that went quite well. And, maybe you can find it on my TikTok too.
Thank you so much. Do we have any other updates on anything, any events that anyone's gone to regarding community? I think it's my turn to yap now, which is fantastic. Obviously, we have our lovely little flyers for the History Festival. I recommend very much coming and having a look at things because you might learn a lot of things that you didn't know. There is an exhibition opening this Wednesday, which is the nature of, the hidden world. The nature of the hidden world, that will be opening downstairs in this building. I recommend you come. And also, shameless self-promo, we have our Gawler Underground exhibition opening on the 13th, which is basically a local public figure, Daniel James Down, and I crammed a bunch of artists into a bunch of basements and ceilings and got their interpretations of the work. And I got to write a song, so I recommend you come to the opening. And then obviously the youth's Mystery Behind the History caching event. Absolutely show up. It'll be a good time, even if we're just running around the town, safely, of course. 9.6 is the youth sponsorship update. We are working on new terms for reference after consulting the members of the GYAC, and hopefully, touch wood, be ready for the next meeting. 7.7... No. 9.7, thank you so much, Deb, is the Bunyip Gen Now column, if you would like to speak on this, Debbie.
This is the topic of all topics. No one wants to write anything anymore, which, other than Ren, thank you so much, Ren. He's probably written the most Gen Now pieces out of all of us, so thank you very much. We do appreciate that. We need to vote whether we're keeping this because we're going to come up to the 3rd month of having nothing, which means the Bunyip are going to say, do we want to do this or do we not want to do it? Obviously, the Bunyip is a newspaper, and do we want to keep writing pieces? Do you feel it's valuable? Are you still reading the Bunyip? Are you buying the Bunyip? Is it our demographic? I know the young people in the youth space, they get really excited when they're in the Bunyip, and they will go out and buy the Bunyip and bring it in and show everyone. And we will talk about it, and we'll have copies in the youth space. So it does get us to talk about it, but if we're just writing something to write something, or, I don't know, so I just need to open it up to the committee. Are we keeping it? Are we cutting it?
Someone first? Who was... Okay, Jade first.
I mean, if it went first, yeah. In my opinion, the Bunyip is the youth column at least, is a really good way of advertising things that the youth are doing. Articles I've written in the past, I've gotten more feedback on when I've been advertising like an event that either the band's running or the youth is running, or like something the youth has done. Is it feasible, if it's not something we want to be writing every month, if, say, the youth band has a show coming up and they know about it months in advance, feasible to have like a cut-off date that the Bunyip needs to know if we will be writing a column or not? If that makes sense.
So through the chair, at the moment it's monthly and we need to stick to that. If we want to change it to bi-monthly, I believe they will accept that, but anything beyond that, they may actually say, no, I'm sorry, we need to give that space to somebody else. So it's just either a commitment or not a commitment. Yeah, individuals are welcome to put in ads, or, you know, we can look at ads, but again, like, who are we advertising to in the Bunyip?
So I personally have some idea to write, but I'm not really sure if it's appropriate. If we still stick to this, I might write one article around the traffic jams of the bad design of the Gawler district college roads, because when there's send kids to school and picking up kids to school, it's just totally jammed, and I think it's because of the closed road in the end. So I might write one piece on that, and if the council can support me to maybe send out some survey to get some data, I might do one paragraph on that for sure. And I don't know, I can also write something else, I personally just submit a submission to the state parliament regarding to the school zone thing, how to define children, that sort of thing. And I think there will be a results in next 2 weeks on the 13th of May, where they have a meeting, and maybe we can write something about that as well, I suppose. So that's basically 2 articles for me, and if we want still writing, I think I can start organize that with the help of council to send some survey out for me. Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, just following on that. I think the clear point is that we all can have ideas on articles to write. It's just a matter of we get to a meeting and either you've forgotten you had the month before, or you've been asked to write something in a week. And that does come down to self-accountability. If you say you're going to write something, you should be able to write it. But maybe we need to have one of our team buildings, we all sit down and we commit to writing something, and then we bring that to the next committee meeting or something like that. We need to have almost a backlog of items, because if you say you can write 2 articles, but then it gets to your time to submit them and you don't have them because you've been busy, that's just, it's the position we've all been in, where we've committed to being able to write something, it's fallen through. So I'm happy with it becoming a bi-monthly thing, opposite to our meetings. We say we're going to write something, and then we have 2 months to write it before the next meeting or something like that. That's just my opinions.
Thank you, Jade.
Just through the chair, obviously the Bunyip is our local paper, and we do want to, if we can, support it. I mean, me personally, I love it when you get so excited and run into your space holding a Bunyip up and saying, look, I'm in the Bunyip. And, it must increase their sales when the young people are in there. And they do a lot for us. They come to our events, they do advertise it. So, but at the end of the day, it's the committee that needs to commit. If there's something that you're happy to write, and if I say to you, hey, we've got an event like the skate park event coming up and you want to write about it, go for it, because that's advertising for us. But it doesn't have to be advertising, it can be anything. And Bernie did mention to me before the meeting that he wrote that piece, and hopefully he will share that on our Facebook page. So he's written something to the Minister of Transport, did you say?
So I didn't really start writing it first because I think I need collect some data, but I'm not really sure how to. But I indeed wanted to. I have showed that was the thing for the school zone speed limits. That one was to the state parliament, where the only reason I write that is because the unclear definition in legal term of children when regarding of when you drive past school and you have to determine someone is a children. And I think maybe I can publish, like I can write a news article version of it after there was a results from the meeting of the parliament, which is on the 13th of May. And the first one I was referring with the school traffic one, that one I haven't started, as I said, I didn't have like the way to collect feedbacks and like to make a survey, which if council can support and allows me to like send some surveys through the council and then we can collect some results, I can write that as well for sure.
Thank you very much. Councillor Davies? Oh, you've been silenced.
Sorry, Everson didn't need it. So, let's see. So, I think the bunyip is one that you can write, but as I was saying before, we can adjust to the times. Like, if your creative output is not in writing columns, but is in making a video for the Gawler Youth Instagram and Facebook or whatever, this can be a creative outlet in whatever form that it takes that people are interested in doing. If they are interested in writing, then that's good, but we need a consistent, the bunyip has a page and we're part of the page and it's sort of a youth page, and then if we don't show up, they sort of have nothing to put on half the page. And so we need to be able to commit. But yeah, it's one of those things where it could be anything. I wrote one on, I believe it was on Game of Thrones, and just my thoughts on it. Like, it's not something that has to be a policy position or an advertisement, or it's just a section where youth get to write something. And if that's something that is interesting to the committee, then we can keep it. But if it's not, then we don't have to. If you find it to be a chore and you'd rather be making TikToks, then that's what we can work towards. But if it is something that people are still interested in, then we just need regular sign-ups.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. Deputy Mayor?
I know we have our double page spread that we use in the Bunyip as council. Sometimes we also have, I guess, an annual report or an annual update from the chair on some committees as well. I'm probably doing Abby in here. But if you actually did have, Youth Advisory Committee for the last 12 months, and you have that general update that you have for a snippet of time, should you not have any space for it, it could go into our double page spread around the Youth Week stuff and what we do as council. Should you find yourself needing an article because we haven't garnished an article from, it actually is the rerun opportunity where you can actually turn around and say, hey, this is the update from the youth chair that you can slot into that. And if you change it to bi-monthly as well, you've got 6 articles in a year, but then you've got that contingency plan that just keeps that focus of the great things that this committee does, what we're doing in the space, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, you might see that default article fall into the space, and that's not a get out of jail free card for the people that said they were going to write the article, but it does just provide that constant, and it keeps the message as well consistent of what we've done. And yes, each year you're going to have to update the chair's version of what great work we've done, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it does just provide that contingency plan if you get stuck, which we know we can get stuck. But look, again, food for thought. We're in your hands, but there might be a couple of options there, because it might be a shame to lose it, but you can understand where Debbie's coming from, because if everyone's sort of chasing for these articles, we do sort of taint our relationship a little bit with our local newspaper, which we do value, but whether or not it is the audience we're looking for in this space, I think it is a good, personally, I think it is a good platform to provide a little bit of an update to another demographic that might not know what we're doing in the space. And a conversation might start from that demographic with their family, their grandchildren, their children, whatever.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any thoughts or ideas around that? Are we voting tonight if we want to keep it in or not, or is this just general ideas? Just general ideas.
We need an article in 4 days, so if we're going to put one in.
We need an article in 4 days if we're going to put one in
This month?
this month.
Otherwise we'll have our...
Yeah, I think I can just like reward the one I've shown you through, and basically into a news article, and yeah, I think I can do that in 4 days. Actually, I'm gonna do it tomorrow anyway. Like I have time in school. Yes.
Oh my goodness. All right, fantastic. Thank you. We'll definitely get back to that. Maybe we can follow off of Jade's idea and have a little writing session during our training. I'm going to move to not 9.8 because Chia's already covered it. 9.8 was the youth development plan, but it has already been covered previously. We're going to move on. Do we have any other items for discussion overall? No. Amazing. Item 10, which is items listed for discussion at future meetings. From the last meeting, if we turn to page 4 of the minutes, I believe. Okay. All right. So it's 10.1. A question was raised regarding whether any committee members would be interested in developing a potential budget proposal for the 2026 and 2027 financial year to create a large urban art piece designed by the young people. If you're interested, please reach out to the Youth Development Officer, which is Deb. Are we happy to just leave that one there? We'll probably come back around to it at some point in time. Items 11, questions without notice. Did we have any? Oh, they're not on mine. Jade and Jade.
Oh, yes, yeah. So these are the other topics.
Stealing us. All right, my apologies. There's a few more here. It's been noted that discussions are ongoing regarding the GYAC, whether it should remain a Section 41 committee or transition into a working group. This topic is set to be addressed during our team building evening on June 2nd. Hand over to Jade now, I believe. She's requested that the new CEO be invited to an upcoming GYAC meeting in 2025 and that we review the disability and inclusion plan to include engagement with the GYAC.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to drop the CEO being invited. I think if he's been invited, I think we've made it clear that he's been invited. So I don't think we need to be including that in our future discussion anymore. If he turns up, we'll be very welcoming. And with the engagement with the disability and inclusion plan, I haven't been keeping up with the timeline of this if it's gone to state government yet. Potentially would council be aware of when this goes? Because is it something council would be involved in? Yep.
So through the chair, council is required under state legislation to have a disability access and inclusion plan, and the state government are currently finalising what the new template for the plan will look like. Once they do that, they'll gazette it, and then we will have 6 months to basically engage and update on our new plan. So we're preparing for that now, and we definitely have noted GYAC's keenness to be involved, and we definitely want to engage with youth. It's just a matter of waiting for us to see what the final version of the actual template plan we need to use looks like, and then we'll be hitting the ground with that, and GYAC will definitely be a contact area for us. Thanks.
Perfect, thank you. All right, item 11, questions without notice, if we had any. Nope. Item 12 is motions without notice. We have noted here that the last meeting minutes on page 5, we will hand them off to Kim with a plan, I believe.
We'll talk to Kim.
Oh, we'll talk to Kim.
About Emerson's motion.
Okay, great, fantastic. We'll have a chat with Kim about Emerson's motion, and we will provide her with some feedback from us, from her chat with us tonight as well.
I guess question for the chair. Does that mean we're asking Kim if it is okay that we could run this event, or has it been too far gone that we can't run this event?
Through the chair, Kim mentioned tonight that more than happy to provide a briefing session like what you put in your motion, and she can talk to us about what that can look like and when that needs to happen. So yeah, she'll send us an email.
Okay, but that doesn't answer my question, unfortunately. The motion is to just saying welcome, and I'm glad that it is opening. But the motion and my question is, are we still able to have that event where we can invite young community members to come and like give their opinion?
Through the chair, so we can chat with Kim about that and see what the timeline is, if that's too late, if that's something they still want to do. Sorry, I thought you were referring to the motion about supporting the event. Yeah. Just on that, obviously it would be a Headspace event. We can attend or encourage people to attend, but it's not our event, so we wouldn't be running their opening. That would be a Headspace event.
Yeah, again, I understand we wouldn't be running their open event, but it was more of a like before their opening, like if we could do an event ourselves or with Headspace where we have a night or an afternoon where we get some people in to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, through the chair, yes, that's what, sorry, I was trying to get across. Kim mentioned as she was leaving that she has read your motion from the last meeting or listened to the meeting, and that she's happy to move and contact us about that. So she'll send us an email this week in regards to what that could look like and the timeline on how that could work, you know, getting community members in as well as the GYAC and what they can be involved in, and then we'll come back to you on that.
Cool, thank you. Any more on that topic? No, amazing. We have a motion noted here as well to thank committee members. We'd like to note that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee acknowledges and thanks Edward Sharp and Max Greville for their contribution and support to the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee over the past 2 years. Could I please have a seconder for this one? I'm the mover. I'm the mover, and Emerson is the seconder. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Yes, Emerson's new motion, support from Council for the opening of Headspace Gawler. We have here that Council supports the opening of Headspace Gawler by 1, promoting the opening on Council's social media, and 2, encouraging the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee and the Youth Development Officer to attend the opening. Emerson is the mover. Do we have a seconder for this one? Aislinn? Do we have any questions for Emerson regarding that? Nope. Good motion. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. I think that is the close now. I'd like to wrap the meeting at 7:48 p.m. on the 5th of May. Our next ordinary meeting will be Monday the 7th of July, commencing at 6:30 p.m.